Hey guys, have you been wondering what the dimensions of a volleyball court are? That's what we're going to be covering in today's video. Hey guys, welcome back to the Better at Beach YouTube channel. My name is Brandon and this is Mark. And today
we're going to go over everything you need to know about volleyball court dimensions. We're going to go over the indoor dimensions for 6-on-6 and 4-on-4. We're going to go over the beach dimensions, which are different, and we're going to talk about the net height. You're also, yeah, good. They're going to like it too. We're also going to talk a little bit about what lines you need and maybe some about the antennas and a little bit about the rules that you need to know. And if you're interested in building your own court or trying to figure out how much space you need, we're going to give you those dimensions too.
Let's get measuring. All right, we're going to start with big court. This is commonly used in indoor volleyball, or if we're on the beach, it's where we see 6s or 4s. And the dimensions that you're going to use are 9 by 9 meters or 29 feet 6 inches by 29 feet 6 inches. That's going to be a big court in beach volleyball, great for 4s and 6s.
They also used to play 2-on-2 on big court, but in 2001, they changed the rules and they changed the size for 2-on-2 beach volleyball. So the size that we play on now for 2-on-2 beach volleyball court, on each side of the net, it's 8 by 8 meters or 26 feet and 3 inches by 26 feet and 3 inches. That means that the entire court, all of the line space that you need is going to be 52 by 26 for your lines if you need to cut them yourself.
If you're creating a court of your own, whether it's at your house or you just got a facility, then you need to think about the space outside of the court as well. Whenever we're creating that space, we need at least 10 feet of space from the sideline to whatever grass or area you have outside of the court, and also on the end lines. So make sure you have at least 10 feet around the outside of the court. We also need to think about the distance between the poles and the sideline. And for that, we need at least 3 feet. So 10 feet outside the court, poles need to be 3 feet from the sideline or where your antennas will be.
If you're playing at men's height, or a lot of people play co-ed at men's height, that means you're playing with a girl and a guy on the same net. So that's going to be 7, 11, and 5/8 inches. So 7 feet, 11 inches, and 5/8, or 2.43 meters. If you want to put the net on women's height, then you're going to put it at 7 feet, 4 inches, and 1/8 of an inch, or 2.24 meters. Nope, it's not good. Raise it. How many times have you been through that? All right, everybody's a different height, a different length on every single day. So if you want to be exact with measuring your net height, referees usually carry this little chain, and this chain will hook onto the top of the net and it will hang down. There'll be probably a little red link for the women's height and it'll be full length for the men's height. If you're on a beach, make sure that you've cleared out the space under the sand first, because they usually get pitted. So you want to make sure that it's nice and flat and then hang that chain so that it dangles just at the sand so you got your exact height. Indoor, you don't really have to worry about any mixed surfaces, so it should be straightforward there. But we'll include a link to that little tool below so that you can have an exact height match for your nets. All volleyball courts should have antennas. These represent the sidelines, and as far as the rules go, you can imagine that the antenna extends for eternity up into the sky. So if the ball travels over that, technically it's out of bounds. The ball needs to fly over the net back and forth in between the antennas. But as far as how long and how thick it should be, you're looking at about 1.8 meters in length, or 5 feet 11 inches.
That's what she said.
That's the standard antenna height, but all you need is a tall stick to get it there. Also, the thickness needs to be about 20 millimeters in thickness. That's not what she said.
All right, when we're thinking about volleyball lines, we suggest a 2-inch line, okay? These are going to be great, especially if you plan on leaving them on the ground or outside for an extended period of time. They tend to wear a little bit better, okay? If you plan on traveling You're going to be picking them up time and time again. If they're not going to be moving, we still recommend the 2 inches, but if you're going to be moving around, then we suggest going with a 1 inch or even the string lined ropes, because those tend to travel a lot easier. We've got links to our favorite volleyball lines in the links below. Each line is held down by what we call an anchor. Okay, these can look a little different. We have our spike anchors. Sometimes they come with discs. Both of those are going to be great for the beach. If you are playing grass volleyball, then you are going to want to have metal spikes. A lot of times those are sold together as a unit. We also have a link below for that type of package. So if you are on the sand, we recommend some plastic spikes or the disc-shaped anchors.
If you're setting them up on the beach or on the grass, here's the best way to do it. Find the middle of the line, or the middle part that belongs underneath the net first. Tell your buddy to hold it there, or you can just stab it into the ground wherever it is. Once he's got that, hold the line tight. Then take your anchor and pull at 45 degrees and make sure that the point of it comes back in and down towards the court. That should create a nice snug anchor, and the lines will be nice and taut so they won't move too much. Make sure when you're doing that, you dig a little bit of a hole first, especially if you're on the sand, and then you cover the spike with sand, just so that when somebody steps on it, it's not gonna hurt their feet.
Another difference that we see between indoor and beach volleyball is what we call the 3-meter line or the 10-foot line. In indoor volleyball, that is used to mark where front row players or back row players cannot attack in front of. On the beach, we don't have this unless you are playing reverse co-ed, where the male on a team has to attack from behind the 3-meter or the 10-foot line. But on the sand, what we commonly see is that people will mark out that with tape, and then they will use a small string to go across the court. So there's not a 3-meter or a 10-foot line on the sand, only in indoor. And when we're thinking about reverse co-ed, there's a couple of other different dimensions that we have to think of. When we're just playing co-ed, the height of the net is still at a men's height. But if we're playing reverse co-ed, where the male has to jump from behind that 10-foot line or 3-meter line, then it is played on a women's height net. Women can still attack on the net, but men have to jump from behind that 3-meter or 10-foot line.
When we're talking about the poles that you need to actually hold the nets up, if you're an indoor, those poles are probably going to be inserted into the gym floor. Okay, usually they're made of a stainless steel and they've got a lot of tension. We're going to include some links to those below. If you're on the beach, we're going to recommend some treated wood, and make sure that they have sanded edges, just so nobody cuts himself or runs into it too hard. If you're looking for a sturdy pole that's going to be there for a long time, if you're looking for a sturdy pole that's going to be there for a real long time, we recommend getting a 16-foot pole. Okay. It's also going to be about 6 by 6 inches. You can use 4 by 4 inches, but if it's there for a long time, those tend to bend and crack with the amount of tension that you need on the net. So 16 feet is going to be good for you, and you can bury that about 5 feet into the sand. So you're going to need to dig down so that a lot of it's in there and it's going to stay there and the net won't shift over. For the thinner or portable nets like Parkinson or Spectrum, you're going to have some guy wires from the top of the net that you're also going to anchor into the ground, and that'll provide some tension. Now, those tend to be a little bit flimsier. They get the job done if you're just out for a day or two, but if you're looking for something more permanent, or you're putting it in your backyard, or you're really setting up a nice strong net that's going to be there for a while, go ahead and get some treated wood, 6 by 6 inches, 16 feet tall, and bury it at least 5 feet into the ground. If you're setting up your own net, and again, you're going to use these wood poles, you're going to put in some I-rings. If you want to install some I-rings just like this, make sure they can hold a lot of tension. Get the stronger ones. And you want to put one at about 9.5 feet off the sand, and you're going to put another one at 3.5 feet off the sand. Okay. You can add a little extra one so that you can have a pulley system in between them, right? That pulley system right here is going to help you raise the net and lower the net, or it's going to use this guy wire so that you can add tension across the top of the net. Okay. The bottom rope, the bottom eye-ring is going to help pull the net down and again, increase tension over the bottom of the net, which is important if you want to get some quality volleyball or a really nice professional setup. If you want to see how we tie the knots for a setup like this, you can go to the video that we are linking around here and check out some simple how to tie a knot for volleyball poles video. If you want your ropes to last a really long time, we recommend making sure that you get a nice pulley system. If you keep rubbing all of the ropes along the eye rings, over time, they're going to deteriorate and they're going to rip and you're going to need to replace them. Through the net, you want to make sure you get one of these covered steel cables. Okay, and you can get this teardrop thing. I'm sure somebody knows more about hardware and construction than I do, but this nice little metal teardrop and clasp are going to help you have that ring at the end. Some nets come with them already built in. Some, like the portable nets, you don't need any of this. But if you do have your own setup, a pulley system is going to save you a lot of heartbreak from broken strings. If you're looking for a high quality net and you've got a permanent setup, this one is going to last you a really long time, and it's by our buddies over at volleyballusa.com. This is the 4-inch power beach volleyball net. You can customize it, you can get any graphics you want along the net, and this one here has lasted us 7 years. As you can see, it's still alive and kicking. No rips, no tears, everything is nice and kept together, and our pole is still intact to make sure we've got the best tension on the beach.
If you plan on building a court at your house, or if you just want to be really, really cool and like come find me and build one at my house, that'd be great.
If you build it, he will come.
Then you first need to start off by digging at least 1.5 feet deep. Recommend 1.5 to 3 feet worth of depth before you fill with sand. And then you also need to think about building in a drainage system. You can start off by filling it with PVC pipe with some holes in it. That's going to help with some drainage. And then you are going to lay little rocks on top of that. That is going to help with the runoff, especially if you live in an area where you get a lot of rain. Once you have laid down that PVC pipe and those rocks, then you can fill it with a minimum of 100 tons of sand. Yes, that is a lot of sand, but we want to make sure that you are healthy. Nobody likes a shallow court. In Hermosa Beach, we're lucky enough to have really, really nice sand, but if you're wondering where you can get some sand, then you can always look local. But if you are trying to get your courts built by some experts, then we suggest reaching out to our buddies at Sand Court Experts. My knees are still hurting. If you're thinking about what your indoor courts should be made of, then be kind to your athletes. Do not play on concrete or very, very hard surfaces with no give. We suggest using sport court or finding a nice basketball type gym, which has a little bit of bounce to it. It's going to save your athletes' bodies and it's a little bit more fun to play on.
You?
Me?
You can say goodbye.
All right. See you guys. Now, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you got all the dimensions and ideas and thoughts on how you can build a beach volleyball court or indoor volleyball court. And if you happen to build a court at your house and you have at least 12 friends, then give yourself a pat on the back and then email us and let us know that you want us to come to your court and run a clinic for you. We're offering weekend clinics where we come in and give you 9 hours of amazing volleyball instruction, and all we need is 12 people to get that done.
Our channel is dedicated to getting better at beach volleyball. So if you're interested in progressing or getting better or finding tutorials and lessons, that's what our channel is all about. So if you want to get those videos and see them on a regular basis, just hit the subscribe button, give us a like, share this with anybody who might be interested in building a court, and we'll appreciate it.
And we'll see you next time.
See you on the sand.